Good day, everyone. So, welcome to our personal development class, and we are now in week 2. Okay. But before that, let us just have a little recap of what we discussed last week. Wherein we were able to discuss lesson 1 and lesson 2. And these lessons, focus more on self-development, self-concept, personality, and we even talk about self-esteem, self-efficacy, self and identity. And for the last topic that we were able to discuss was judgment and decision making. Okay, so moving on for our lessons for this week. So we shall be discussing lesson 3, which focuses on developing the whole person, and lesson 4 is all about thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in actual life situations. And for that, we shall have to obtain the following objectives at the end of this discussion. First, categorize one's own thoughts, feelings, and actions. So you should be able to categorize, at the same time identify your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. Next, identify one's positive and negative responses through given situations. And last objective is express the connections between thoughts, feelings, and behaviors in actual life situations. Okay, so let's proceed. Ayan. So let's have muna a little motivation before we start our discussion. So let's have picture analysis. Okay, so look at the picture. So I want you to analyze the picture and you could tell me, what can you say about this picture? Ano yung nakikita nyo dun sa picture? Ano kaya yung iniisip ng babae at ano kaya yung iniisip ng lalaki, and what is happening in this kind of situation? Next, what about this picture? It's a picture of a family. So you can take a look in each person. Ano kaya yung iniisip ng tatay, ng nanay, at nung mga anak? Ano yung nangyayari sa sitwasyon na iyan? Another, ayan. So ano to? Classroom setting. So if you're going to look at these two ladies or kids, no? Ano kaya yung nangyayari sa kanila? At ano kaya yung action, feeling, no? O ano yung nararamdaman ng dalawang ito? Yan. Okay. So, for your first activity, ayan, in your learner's activity sheet, so all you need to do is to discuss how you behave when you encounter these scenarios. So you will be given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no? Scenarios, and all you need to do is to identify the feelings, no? In that scenario, if you are in that person, what will be your feelings? And what will be your action? Ano yung gagawin mo? And what will be the result of your actions? And after identifying, no, those things, you are going to answer the processing questions, which is what did you discover about yourself? Which aspect of personality do you give more priority to be dominant in developing your well-being? And how will you improve the weakest aspect of your personality? Okay, so thumbs up lang po kung naintindihan ng activity number 1 that no, you are going to do it no, during our asynchronous time. Okay, so moving on. Yan. So for my first question in our discussion, and I want you to think of it no, so that you could answer it properly. So the question is, who would be responsible in developing one's personality? Anyone from the group? Sino ba ang responsable para ma-develop ang personalidad ng isang tao? Okay. So, salamat sa inyong mga sagot. So, in our discussion, no, it says here that every individual undergoes different phases of development that form his individuality. So bawat tao, no, ay may pinagdadaan ng stages of development, no, from no the moment na ikaw no ay na-create sa tiyan ng nanay mo, no, yung when the egg cell and the sperm cell united, nagsisimula na yung development. At hanggang ikaw ay nag-iidad, lumalaki, no, hindi lang physically, emotionally, no, spiritually, so all aspects, no, lahat dapat nagkakaroon ng development, no, for you, no, to have your own personality or individuality na tinatawag. And no, talking about personality, no, our personality is a product of genetic response, no, that will inherent na from our parents and from the influence of our environment. So dalawang factors, no, para ma-develop ang ating personality. Una nga daw ay yung ating mga naman ng mga characteristics, no, inherent, no, characteristics from our parents, di ba? And another, para ma-form ang iyong personality is yung tinatawag na impluwensya ng ano, kapaligiran. The influence of our environment, kung paano mo sila inoobserbahan, no? Kung paano ka nakikisalamuha sa kanila, therefore meron yung epekto, no? At nakakatulong yun sa paghuhubog ng ating personality. Okay, so ang focus natin ngayon is yung childhood to adolescence. Siyempre, yung stages of life lang muna nyo ang ating pag-uusapan, 'di ba? No, from being bata hanggang sa ngayon, no, whatever, no, exposure, no, that you have, no, in your environment, nakaapekto yun sa personality mo. And whatever, no, genes na mga na-inherent o yung namana mo sa mga magulang mo, definitely, no, malaking role yun, no, para masabing eto yung personality mo. Okay? Ayan. So according to Eric Erikson, so he's one of the psychologists, no? Ayan. So meron siyang tinatawag na adolescent stage of psychosocial development, no? Also known as identity versus role confusion, no? Wherein, no, in this stage, no, teens need to develop the sense of self and personal identity. So at this point in time, dapat you are busy developing your sense of self and your own personal identity or yung self-identity. So dapat ngayon, no, unti-unti mo nang nakikita kung anong klasing tao ka. 'Di ba? Anong klasing babae ka? Anong klasing lalaki ka? Anong klasing ano ka, 'di ba? Teenager ka. 'Di ba? So dapat ngayon, no, malinaw na. Kaya yung iba last week, no, yung mga nagsabi sa akin na they are not sure of themselves, they really don't know them ano no their selves. So kailangan, no, ngayon may wake up call na tayo. So gantong edad pala kailangan namumulat na akong malaman at makilala ang sarili ko. So at this point in time, no, teenagers na start to have circle of friends in which they build their trust. So actually kapag teenage years na, you have more time para sa kaibigan. No, ang focus mo ay yung pakikipagkaibigan, tapos less na yung ating time for the family. Ganyan nababaliktad. Pero nung yung ikaw ay maliit pa, yung childhood years mo, mas malaki yung naigugugol mong panahon sa mga magulang, sa pamilya. So nagbabaliktad. Ayan. Sige. So kaya naman, no, according to Eric Erikson, once na you cannot, no, ayan, no, identify your sense of self and personal identity, pwede kang magkaroon ng role confusion na tinatawag. Ayan, no, kung titingnan niyo 'tong picture na 'to, role confusion, 'di ba, no? Sino ba ako, 'di ba? Bakit ba kailangan nandito ako? Bakit ba kailangan gawin ko ito? Bakit ganito yung personalidad ko? So nagkakaroon tayo ng role confusion. Okay? So moving on. Ayan. So, with that, teenagers also experience no adolescence cognitive empathy. 'Di ba sabi ko nga dahil sa mas bet nyo na, no, na mag-spend time with your friends. Ayan. So, nagkakaroon kayo ng adolescence cognitive empathy. Ano ba yung empathy? Yung putting yourself in the shoes of others. Yung kumbaga iniisip mo, no, na kung ano yung nangyayari sa mga kaibigan mo, 'di ba, no? Ay paano kung mangyari din sa akin? So yun yung tinatawag na cognitive empathy. Kung ako sa kanya, 'di ba, anong gagawin ko? Parang gano'n, something like that. Or yung tinatawag nating theory of mind, no? Wherein having high regards, no, toward the perspective of the others and feeling concern for others, 'di ba? Kaya 'di ba minsan talagang involved tayo sa nangyayari sa ating mga kaibigan kasi nga talagang kung ano kasi yung interest nila at the same time interest din ninyo. So being adolescents, no, they tend to foster social cooperation. Yes, mas gusto niyo yung ano no, yung na-maintain nyo na maganda yung relationship nyo sa ibang tao, especially sa kaibigan nyo, no. That prevents problems and leads to avoidance of conflict with peers. So, di ba, para wag lang magkaroon ng conflict o makaaway ang mga barkada, di ba, no? So makikipag-cooperate ka na lang, susunod ka na lang, no? You will go with the flow. Kaya lang minsan, 'di ba, no, napapahamak ang kabataan dahil diyan kasi hindi na tayo nag-iisip. Nakalimutan natin yung sense of right and wrong natin ni Sigmund Freud, 'di ba, yung ating ano, no, super ego. Mali na, sinusunod pa natin. Okay? So that's why teenagers are very careful, no, in understanding the emotions of their friends, no, as they start to create deep trust with them. So ito kasi talaga yung pinakaano nyo focus nyo understanding the emotions of your friends, 'di ba? Para mas lumalim ang pakikipag-kaibigan. Ayan. And teenagers are commonly high-risk takers and impulsive due to incomplete development of frontal lobe during adolescence. Ito yon yung frontal part ng ating brain, 'di ba, no? So mga nagiging high risk takers daw kayo, yung hindi na kayo nag-iisip, no? Hindi niyo na tinitingnan kung tama ba o mali o mag-iisip pa ng ibang options like na tinuro ko sa inyo dun sa ano no, sa judgment and decision making. Agad-agad pag naisip niyo yun na, go na kayo. 'Di ba? Bakit? Anong ibig sabihin nun? Kasi hindi pa daw fully develop yung frontal lobe ninyo. 'Di ba, no? Wherein the frontal lobe, no, is responsible for judgment, impulse control, and planning. So that's the very reason bakit impulsive kayo. Kasi hindi pa fully developed ito, no? That's why, no, bakit ba kayo nagiging high risk takers? Kasi nga yung meron kayong search for your self-identity and independence. Gusto nyo kasi, no, ayaw nyo nang diktahan kayo. Ayaw nyo nang sumunod, no, sa malimit sa magulang nyo o sa guro ninyo. Kung ano yung naisip nyo, yun na yun. At feeling nyo, no, kapag nag-stand kayo doon sa decision na yun, no, you are finding your self-identity. Okay? And these experiences and challenges are part of a process of personality development that adolescents needs to understand. Ayan. So talagang pagdadaanan niyo yung maging risk taker kayo, pagdadaanan niyo yan na mag-try kayo na mag-decide, pagdadaanan niyo yan na minsan, no, nawawala kayo sa control, nagiging impulsive kayo kasi that's part of your development as adolescents. Okay, so moving on. So, sabi nga no, you cannot escape no life challenges. So you should know how your thoughts dito 'yan, 'di ba no? Feelings, actually yung feelings andito rin 'yan, mamaya I'll tell you. And actions no in managing personal agency no should be handled. So dapat no nagja-jibe kung ano yung iniisip mo, ano yung nararamdaman mo at ano yung mga kinikilos mo no for you to become no a well-being ano no person. Okay. So ano ba yung thoughts? 'Di ba? Ito yung what you think, 'di ba? So thoughts are impression activated by a stimulus in your mind that is evident from the environment that you are in. So kung ano yung iniisip mo, siyempre saan nanggaling yan? Pwede inactivate nga daw ng mga pangyayari o tao diyan sa paligid mo. Yun yung tinatawag nating stimulus, no? Pag marami stimuli, okay? And this conscious thought occupies emotions that give life to thoughts, no? And it expressed through feelings, 'di ba? So kung ano yung iniisip mo, definitely maaapektuhan yung nararamdaman nyo. Okay, mind you anak, the seat of our emotion is of course sa brain pa rin, yung part ng brain na which is hypothalamus. Kaya ang feelings ay nasa dito pa rin siya, no? Eto dito pa rin, siya pa rin ang nagpa-function, no? Yung brain pa rin natin na nagko-control, no? Sometimes, no, when you are too emotional, you could not think properly kasi anong nananaig, yung ano nararamdaman, no? Because your emotions occupy your thoughts. Ayan, kumbaga parang dinadaig niya, no? Kinakain niya yung dapat na mag-isip ka ng matama. So ang nananig ay yung nararamdaman, 'di ba, no? And this means there is lesser space to analyze the situation because feelings occupy it. So the more na you entertain your emotions, the more na less kang makakapag-isip, no, for you to be able to analyze certain problem or situation. And behaviors are bodily reaction made based on our feelings that result to action. So kung ano yung iniisip mo, o pwede maapektuhan si nararamdaman, si feelings, si feelings, pwede nga niyang i-take over si thoughts. At dahil siya na ang nag-take over, pati yung behavior mo o yung action mo. 'Di ba, no? Ay resulta ng kung ano yung mga nararamdaman mo. So talagang no, they are interrelated no sa, sa isa't isa. So what you think, how you feel, and what you do. So cycle yan. Kaya palaging sa iniisip pa lang dapat nagiging objective ka na. Hindi mo dapat nakokontrol mo na kung ano yung pwede mong maramdaman. So that positibo at tama yung magiging actions mo. So remember, ayan, emotions can direct and control thoughts that sometimes affect your consciousness o yung tinatawag nating kamalayan. So to it, no, you are controlling your emotions properly. Siyempre, no, meron tayong positive and negative emotions. Ang malungkot doon, no, yung mga negative emotions, no, baka mamaya you can no longer control it. So, pwede niyang maapektuhan kung paano ka mag-isip at mag-decide. At syempre, apektado doon pati actions mo, di ba? And this can also lead to loss of focus. Nawawalan ka ng focus, di ba? Yung dapat na alam mong tama, di ba? Dahil naapektuhan na yung iniisip mo ng nararamdaman mo, pwedeng ang gawin mo ay yung mga mali na, 'di ba? And you as teenager, no, it's very important to be focused on your goals. So when you are focused on your goals, ibig sabihin, no, you are your thoughts are being guarded pa rin, no, from time to time na nakinokontrol mo yung emotions mo. Tama bang ito yung maramdaman ko? Uy, parang hindi dapat na ito yung nararamdaman ko, 'di ba? Kailangan in control pa rin ako sa nararamdaman ko, iniisip ko para in control ako dun sa actions ko, 'di ba? Kaya nga, sabi dito, a focused thought will lead to high intelligence. So papasok diyan hindi lang yung intellectual intelligence na tinatawag, yung ating emotional intelligence. Pag-uusapan natin yan sa susunod na mga lessons. Okay? So sabi nga dito, no, decisions may be individual. So these are affected by factors like values, goals, and positive affiliation. So nabanggit ko na yan last week na yung decision natin ay apektado yan syempre ng pagpapahalaga mo, ng kung ano yung goals in life mo, and syempre yung mga affiliations mo, no, and it must be positive one, di ba? And decisions are affected by positive family and community context, di ba? Kung gusto niyo ng good decision, or better decision, kailangan na meron kang positive family relationships and positive community engagement na tinatawag. We're in emphasizing that skills to deal with anxiety and adversity. Dapat na-expose tayo sa paligid natin na kung paano natin magdi-deal with several anxieties at saka adversity, yung mga pangyayari, yung mga minsan mga unexpected na pangyayari sa buhay natin. Kapag tayo na-expose ng tama kung paano natin yun bibigyan ng solusyon, kung paano tayo magre-respond doon, well then you will develop better decision making. And an individual must be able to assess himself or herself accurately prior to making decisions as outcomes of his actions that can be reflections of how he is raised, chooses, peers, and deals with the community. So dapat palaging merong kang assessment, you are going to evaluate yourself, kung gaano ka ka-accurate, na mag-analyze, 'di ba? Tinuruan ko kayo ng steps on how to have a rational decision. So yun yung step by step procedure na yun. Pag ginawa mo yun, you would be able to have better decisions. Kasi when you have decisions that are good, meron kang better outcome din ng action, no, yung kilos mo, yung behavior mo. And with that, no, sabi nga, yan daw ay reflection ng kung paano ka pinalaki, no? Paano ka namimili ng kaibigan mo at paano ka nakikisalamuha sa komunidad. 'Di ba? Nakikita 'yan kung gaano ka marunong magdesisyon. Nakikita 'yan sa pakikisalamuha sa ibang tao. Okay? Yan. So thoughts, feelings, and actions are connected. Tatandaan niyo yan with one another in such a meaning that when the thought, yan or any of these three, thought or feeling, yan are on a negative pole. Pag so negative, ang nararamdaman negative din, it may change by having the remaining factors na focus on the positive pole. So, syempre, since nag-iisip ka na, you are starting reflecting about yourself. So, sa umpisa pa lang, yung negative thoughts, pag tinapa mo na yan, maitatama na rin yung negative na nararamdaman. So, pwede na siya maging positive. So, pag pareho na silang positive, pwede ng positive ito, yung actions magiging positive na rin. So, ang pinaka-importante ay sa umpisa pa lang, you always guard your thoughts. It must be positive all the time para si feeling susunod na maging positibo at si action magiging positibo din. Okay? And have, ayan. So, I have here several questions, di ba, for you to really analyze, para may align yung thoughts, feelings, and actions nyo. Like, first question, have you had an experience when your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors agreed with one another? And what situation was that? Okay, so sino yung pwedeng sumagot? Another question, have you had an experience when your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors disagreed naman with one another? Hindi sila nagtutugma. So what situation was that? And how did you arrive to an informed conclusion after that? Or afterwards? So who would like to answer? Another question, why do you think that at times people tend to have thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that do not agree with each other? Bakit nga ba minsan hindi nagkakaano yan? Jibe yung mga yan. Anyone from the group? And last question for our processing, can we control our thoughts, feelings, and behavior? And how can we do that? Sa tingin nyo, kaya ba natin kontrolin at paano natin ito gagawin? Anyone from the group? Okay, so thank you for answering our processing questions. So for my last two questions para maibigay ko na sa inyo yung mga different activities nyo. So what are your takeaways? So ano yung mga natutunan nyo and how can these takeaways help you improve yourself? So anyone from the group? Okay, so with that, let me discuss the remaining activities under your learner's activity sheet so that you would be able to accomplish these things or these activities during your asynchronous time. Okay, so for activity number 2, we shall be calling this conflict management diagram. So meron tayong diagram dito sa screen natin. All you need to do is to choose one among the given situations. Ayan, and complete the conflict management diagram. So meron tayong thoughts, feelings, and action dito. All you need to do is to write the negative response in letter A. Bawa, may isang situation. Ano yung pa pwede mo maisip na negatibo dun sa sitwasyon na yon? And for response naman, in letter B, it should be positive. So same situation, ano naman yung positibong mong pwedeng maisip sa sitwasyon na yon? So balik punta naman tayo dito sa feelings, ganun din. Ano yung A for negative feelings and B for negative feelings, So same situation yan. Tapos pupunta tayo dito sa action. A is syempre positive action and B is negative actions, So isa lang muna ang basihan nyo ng isang sitwasyon para you would be able to identify the positive and negative, thoughts, feelings, and actions. Okay. Ayan. So, ito yung mga situation. So, pipili lang kayo ng isa. Okay? Next, for activity number 3 naman, so tawagin natin siyang making connections. So ito naman, no, you are given a set of situations where you should track your thoughts, feelings, and behavior until you reach a decision. So ayan, bibigyan uli kayo ng situation, and then you are just going to identify what will be your thoughts, ano yung mga iniisip mo, and with that situation, what will be your feelings, ayan. And of course, ano yung po pwede mong maging action or behavior, tapos i-connect natin sa decision. So, kung yun yung pattern ng thoughts, feelings, and behavior mo, what will be your decision? Okay? So, fill out nyo lang po yung ating table. Okay? So, these are the situations. So, tatlo lang po, no? Nagagawa ng thoughts, feelings, actions, and decisions. Okay? And for activity number 4, no, you are going to answer the 5-item quiz in your last and be able to accomplish the activity number 5, which is yung reflection. Okay? So I just hope no I was able to give you no ample information regarding our lessons in week 2, and you no will be able to answer and be able to submit your last number 2. Okay, so that's it.